27, 2016, with Bhante Vimalaramsi, the abbot of the Dhamma Sukha Meditation Center, and Venerable Punnaji from Malaysia, originally from Sri Lanka. And tonight we'll be having a Dhamma discussion between both of them.
Now, I wanted to talk a little bit with you about the 40 different kinds of meditation.
Right.
That is made up by Buddhaghosa.
Okay.
There are more. The Buddha actually only taught one kind of meditation. There are 40 different objects of meditation. But when you see that the 6 R's and that relaxed step is used with any other meditation, it's still the same kind of meditation. It's just a different object. If you want to stare at a candle and you use the 6 R's with that, you're practicing TWIM. It doesn't matter whether it's breath or a kasina or whatever. If you're using TWIM, that's what the Buddha taught. It's just one kind of meditation, but many different objects. One of the meditations that's not mentioned in the 40 different kinds is called the voidness meditation. And that's seeing that every thought, every feeling, every sensation is not me. It's not mine.
My question was here actually, if we can attain Nibbana through Brahma-Vihara practice, so why can we attain and other practices like Bhutanussati, Dhammanussati, Sanghanussati, Maranussati, and so on?
You can, if you're using TWIM. But if you turn it into one-pointed concentration, not going to happen. You have to have the relaxed step.
So, Bhante, what does mean the TWIM? It's mean together, right?
6 R's.
Okay.
And you have the 6 R's in every jhana, in every arupa jhana. 6 R's are there. That's why I said when you first started, if you practice the 6 R's and you really understand them, they will take you to Nibbana and Arahatship.
So, if we don't practice Brahma-Vihara,
It doesn't matter, but the Brahma-Vihara, your practice, your progress is very fast. That's why I choose to teach this way. If you come with mindfulness of breathing, at least 6 weeks, or you come with Brahma Viharas, 10 days, you will be successful.
so even though Maranussati, other practices, Bhutanussati, everyone can attain.
It has the potential. It depends on the person doing it. Just like doing the Brahma Viharas, you have the potential to become a Sotapanna or Saktigami or Anagami. But you have to do it to see if you're ready for it, if your mind is ready for it. I had one student that said, "You're pushing me too fast." She went through all of the Rupa jhanas, she started getting into Arupa jhanas. "You're pushing me too fast." I said, "I'm not pushing you anywhere. I'm explaining what your experience is. Your mind is going that fast." She had been a nun for 10 years. All she needed was to have that tool of recognize, release, relax, re-smile, return, repeat. And when she put that to her practice of, she had good concentration, now she's having insights into this, she went very quickly. Depends on the person. And I very often tell people that I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know when these things will happen. But I certainly get excited when I see that they become more and more clear, more and more observant. I mean, seeing individual consciousnesses arising, passing away very quickly is amazing. And that's what infinite consciousness is. And you can see it when your mind calms down enough, when you've spent a period of time of 15, 20, 25 minutes where there's no disturbance in mind. And then you start seeing individual consciousness popping up and going away.
I have one more question.
You always have one more question. And I have to tell you, I love it.
So, if we don't follow the 6 hours, and if we practice the Satipatthana Sutta, can we attain Nibbana?
I practiced the Satipatthana Sutta for 20 years and did not attain Nibbana. Okay? When you add that, why? That's the question. Why didn't I? They said I attained Nibbana, but I didn't. Because your mind is on your object of meditation, on the breath, rise and fall of the belly, whatever, and there's distraction. Their instructions are, note the distraction until it goes away. Now here's the key. Then immediately come back to your primary object of meditation without the relaxed step. So what are you doing? You're bringing craving back to your object of meditation. So that turns it into one-pointed concentration, which is not the path that the Buddha taught. So you have to be able, for 20 years, I had headaches that were unbelievable because of the one-pointed concentration. As soon as I saw the relaxed step, I haven't had any headaches since. So that's the major difference.
So in the Satipatthana Sutta,
you have to follow the directions that it says. Nobody does. Nobody tranquilizes a bodily formation on the in-breath or the out-breath. And if you don't do that, that means you're not letting go of craving. And if you don't let go of craving, how can you get to a pure mind of Nibbana?
But it is already mentioned in the Satipatthana Sutta.
Same instructions in Satipatthana Sutta as Anapanasati. Same exact instructions. But it's not being followed. Because they take the Vissudhi Magga as the main book. If you don't believe the Vissudhi Magga, and you don't follow and take it the same as the Buddha's teaching, then you are not considered Theravada. So what I do is I am not Theravada monk, I'm Suttavada.
Ah, that's right.
I announced that at the World Buddhist Council. But I take the suttas as the Buddha's teaching. And you see for yourself by listening to me read the sutta to you, it's not my teaching, it's the Buddha's teaching. And when you follow that teaching, you are successful. One of the problems with the Vissudhi Magga is dividing samatha and vipassana, making them a different meditation. The Buddha didn't teach that way. He taught that it was the same meditation and they were equally useful at the same time.
You can practice both together.
Yes. Do you know the Anupada Sutta?
Huh?
Do you know the Anupada Sutta?
What?
Anupada?
Anupada?
One by one as they occur. See, that has the 5 aggregates in what Sariputta's experience of each jhana was. It has the 5 aggregates. Well, the 5 aggregates and the 4 foundations of mindfulness are the same. That's what it says in the Samyutta Nikaya. And that means you're practicing insight and samatha at exactly the same time while you're in the jhana. And that's why I started talking about insight even in the first jhana. It's there. It's not very strong, but there is, I don't call jhana a level or a kind of concentration. I call jhana a level of your understanding. You understand more deeply how mind works every time you go from one jhana to the next. So your mind becomes more clear. You start seeing things more easily. And that's part of the insights. Yes?
Practicing the 6 R's in your daily life, is that essential to progressing through the jhanas, or does it just make you happier?
It certainly is helpful. I mean, that's what being mindful is all about. It doesn't matter whether you're sitting or not. If you practice the 6 R's in your daily activities, when you see your mind is running all over the place, and you 6R and let it go and relax, you're letting go of craving. So your mind becomes more clear. So you practice the 6 R's while you're doing your daily activity, because there's no time during the day that's not meditation. When you use the 6 R's, then when you go to sit, your quiet time, so you watch more closely, it's much easier to get into the deep states because you've practiced letting go of craving during your daily activities. And these are my ideas. But it seems to agree with what the Buddha was talking about.
Good.
Thank you. Here, let me take the books back from you. Those are heavy little rascals.
Too heavy, huh?
My biggest problem with Bhikkhu Bodhi, this was 3 books with the Tawai Tech Society. He put it all into one. This was 5 books. He put it all into one. Now I have to carry 10 pounds worth of books when I travel. That's very difficult.
Here, all 3 books are here in this volume.
In this volume.
No,
yeah.
this one?
This says five volumes.
Ah,
And
5
into
volumes.
one. Yeah.
All in one, huh?
Yeah. And he did the same with the Anguttara Nikaya.
Huh?
There's 10 different volumes.
Yeah.
And he put it all into one.
Yeah.
I call him a sadist, causing pain. Just because you have to carry something that heavy around.
Well, here's a question, maybe we can keep going.
Yeah.
For Punnaji, what is the definition of Satipatthana? The definition of Satipatthana. What does Satipatthana mean?
Brahma Vihara.
No, Satipatthana.
Oh, Satipatthana.
What does it mean?
No, that's what I said. Sati Upatthana. Sati is attention. Upatthana means to focus it inside. To focus the attention inside, which is to focus within. And that is to focus on the body, how the body feels, and focus on the mind in two forms, the emotional part and the thinking part. The emotional part is what we call the mood. Now the modern cognitive psychologists are aware of this, that emotional part is called the affective and the thinking part is called the cognitive. Even Sigmund Freud was aware of that. The emotional part he called the id, id, and the thinking part he called the ego. So the distinction is there.
Avadapathana. Satipatthana.
Satipatthana means that focusing the mind inwards. That is what I call introspection. The word introspection is that. So the real word for sati is not mindfulness, but introspection.
And attention.
Huh?
And attention.
Attention, yeah.
Yeah.
So, with all of this, mindfulness is the paying attention inside. I mean, with all the stuff that's outside coming in, not watching it out there, not paying attention out there, but paying attention to how you are as it's going through its steps from the point that it enters and works through these.
And that's how you start understanding the links of dependent origination and how they work.
And seeing each step, you're looking inside, seeing these things happening.
Yeah. That's the main question for Buddhism. How does it happen? Not why, that's psychologist stuff. How? And that's why the definition I give for mindfulness, remembering to observe how mind's attention moves. You have a tendency to go deeper into your practice when you see how it works. If you get caught up in why, or your curiosity, you have a memory of a past lifetime and you follow it, you're not being mindful at that time. Why doesn't matter. How does this process work? That's what matters.
I look at it because there's two things. There's one, when you're in sitting meditation.
Well, yeah, that's your quiet time.
There's the everyday things, and the everyday things is all of these 6 sense doors have stuff happening all the time. but by seeing as it's going through and being able to stop it or
The 6 are it.
yeah, you know, so that you know what that is inside.
You know that it's impersonal.
Right.
That's the definition I give for anatta. I don't like not self. I don't like anatta translated as not self. I say impersonal. Because there's so much mixed up. Well, you have to build up the ego before you can see there is no ego. That's the thinking in a lot of people with
that is not
vipassana.
correct, yeah.
Right. But when you use the word impersonal, that means you're seeing without any craving.
That's right.
And that's a pretty major thing.
That's why I translate anatta as impersonality.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm forever beholding to you for getting me away from the Vissudhi Magga. It was a major change in my life. Major. Because I was always going back to the Vissudhi Magga if I didn't understand something. And that didn't always agree with what it says in the sutta. But I was taught this way. Always go to the Vissudhi Magga. That's the encyclopedia of meditation. But that's a mistake. That's what it is. And he was the one that showed me. He told me when I was telling him how I was teaching meditation. I was teaching loving kindness. And I was using the language of the Vissudhi Magga to teach it. And he stopped me and he said, why don't you let go of the language of the Vissudhi Magga and start using the language of the sutta? And I did. And I had many light bulbs going off in my head. Oh, that's what that means. When I had the Vissudhi Magga so close, I didn't understand what the sutta said. When it wasn't there, it was easy to understand. So I'm ever so grateful for Bhante helping me that way.
Well, I have a question. In the Vissudhi Magga, there are the insight knowledges, but they are not in the suttas. What are those?
What?
In the Vissudhi Magga, they talk about insight knowledges,
Yeah.
but they're not in the sutta. What are they?
Well, those are really, I have been trying to find out whether I can find something in the sutras to fit into that. Ultimately, they speak about what is called Nava Maha Vidarsana Jnana. That means 9 jnanas.
Yes.
Then I discovered 9 jnanas in the Satipatthana Sutra. But those jnanas are not what is described in the Vissudhi Magga.
Right.
It is very different, but they are simply 9 steps in the Vipassana. These are 9 steps. That is, now it is repeated in the Kayanupassana, it is repeated in the Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana and the Dhammanupassana. Iti ajjattang va khaye khayanupassi viharati. Bahidda va khaye khayanupassi viharati. Ajjatta bahidda va khaye passi viharati. That is 3 there. Then he says, Samudaya Dhammanupassi va khayasming viharati. Vaya Dhammanupassi va khayasming viharati. Samudaya Vaya Dhammanupassi va khayasming viharati. There are 6 there. Then Attikayoti va panas satipachupatito hoti. Yavadeva jnanamasaya patisati mastaya. That is 1 there. Then anisitocha viharati. That is anisitocha viharati. And then nachakinchi loke upadhyati. Those are the 3, then 9 altogether. So, but those 9 steps are not found in the Vissudhi Magga. I don't know from where they picked it up, but most because there have been a lot of false arahants during Asoka's time. Because during Asoka's time, there were 18 schools of Buddhism and 18 ways of interpreting the teachings of the Buddha. So that shows that, and each school of Buddhism, the leader is called an arahant. So how can there be so many arahants talking different things?
Yeah.
If you are an arahant, you have to be talking about the same thing.
So, how can we believe that all suttas given by Buddha or taught
What?
by Buddha?
What?
All the suttas in the Nikayas.
You can't believe all of them. Some of them are influenced by the Brahmins. Some are influenced by the
What is that question?
How can we be sure that all the suttas in the suttas are taught by the Buddha? What is the surety?
No, it is only by reading it you can see that there is nothing, one sutra going against the other sutra. There is no such thing like that.
Right.
If you read the Sutra Pitaka, all the sutras, you will begin to see that. They are all united.
For instance, Sutta number 20. It's called Removal of Distracting Thoughts. Okay, let's go to that. Yes. But it says, if while giving attention to stilling the thought formation of thoughts, there still arise in him evil, unwholesome thoughts connected with desire, hate, and delusion, then with his teeth clutched and his tongue pressed against the roof of his mouth, he should beat down, constrain, and crush mind with mind. Okay? Now that's in the sutta. Then you go to sutta number 36, number 20. And he says, the Buddha says, I thought, suppose if I, with my teeth clutched, my tongue pressed against the roof of the mouth, I beat down, constrain, and crush mind with mind. So, with teeth clutched and tongue pressed against the roof of the mouth, I beat down, constrained, and crushed mind with mind. While I did so, sweat ran from my armpits. Just as a strong man might seize a weaker man by the head or shoulders and beat him down, constrain him and crush him, so too I did that with these thoughts. And sweat ran down my armpits. Although tireless energy was aroused in me, unremitting mindfulness was established. My body was overwrought and uncalm because I was exhausted by painful striving. Now, that says, don't do that. But here it says to do it.
What I don't understand that. What are the sutras?
That and the greater discourse to Satchika.
Huh?
The greater discourse to Satchika, Mahasatchika Sutta, number 36.
Can I have a look at that?
Let me.
Bhante actually says it's a
Huh?
mistranslation. He says it's a mistranslation.
Well, I say that it's added on because people were practicing
Where-
one-pointed concentration. And they just took it from the other sutta, saying, okay, let's do it this way, because that's the only way one-pointed concentration.
Vitakka Sutra. Yes, and the other one is?
Number 20. Section number 20. So what I think is a monk added those. Of all of those, just the first one is the one that gives good instruction. All the rest is suppressing, pushing away, not liking, treating a hindrance like rotting meat or in a necklace. Well, that's all good and well, but the Buddha's teaching is this, not this.
But I think in that sutta he's pointing out how to deal with that.
But it's not pointing out correctly. That's the whole point. It's pointing out correctly if you practice one-pointed concentration only. If you don't have the relaxed step where you are actually purifying mind, then it's just like every other meditation that's being taught. It's one-pointed concentration. Force of concentration suppresses, pushes down hindrances. You can never attain Nibbana by suppressing anything. Only
Now,
by
what this problem you're talking about, that this Vitakka is talking about the forcing thing, no? I went into the original, the Pali, and found that that is a wrong translation.
Well,
It's not that. You see, what the Buddha is trying to say is, you see, when when you are meditating, you begin to relax the body, but sometimes you begin to observe that your tongue is tight onto the
right.
palate, and the teeth are clenched. And when you are aware of that, what you have to do is to relax, not to tighten it. But here, the translation here is to tighten it, which is a wrong translation. That's what I am saying.
And I'm still saying that sutta was added later. It was not.
No. It's not something in the Pali. It is something in the translation. The error is in the translation, not in the Pali.
I have talked with other scholars of...
Oh yes, I have also spoken to all these people. They try to say that that is the Pali, Pali.
Let me explain what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Please. And they said in the old translation, in the old Pali, there was only 150 suttas in the Majjhima Nikaya, not 152.
Oh.
I'm saying that one sutta, it might be in Pali, but it was added later with wrong understanding.
No, what I am saying is that the Pali has a different meaning.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still go to one of the earlier ones.
Yeah.
You treat a hindrance like it's a piece of rotting meat.
Hmm.
Now, is that a good way to let go of a hindrance?
Yeah, it's a letting go that is important here.
Right, but that's not what they're telling you to suppress.
Yeah, I know.
Treat it as something that smells bad. No, you're not going to accept anything. You're not going to allow it to be there and relax into it. You're going to mentally try to push down. And that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, I agree with Bhante Punnaji, because he said that when we teeth we tight, then tightness is in our brain. But I also practiced this Brahma Vihara another place. I went to two meditation retreat, so I couldn't improve even past jhana with the tightness, because I practiced with the tightness. But what Bhante Punnaji said, and then Bhante said, actually it's right. When we relax, then we can improve our mindfulness very, very faster.
Bhante.
And I also went to Bhikkhu Bodhi, and I laughingly said, whoever is going to do that? Try to suppress and crush mind with mind.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I've done meditation and I had to do that. And I basically said, well, then you don't know how to meditate. Because you don't need to do that. Too many monks write about you have to stop, you have to push down hindrances.
No, that is because they are trying to concentrate.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what I tell people is the hindrance is your teacher. It's showing you where you have an attachment. What is the attachment? I am that. That means there is craving. So when you let go of that attachment, when you let go of that craving, that's how you get into the jhana. Because you're purifying mind. That's why I don't agree with people that are practicing concentration. Because it's not the same kind of meditation that the Buddha taught.
The text of those two suttas are suspiciously the same, except for just a few words. And so if you look at 36 and you look at 20, the text is the same, except one changes it by saying, this doesn't work, and this says it does work.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's the same. That's suspicious. The Buddha didn't just say the same thing in two suttas. Something's wrong.
And it doesn't agree with any of the
What's
others.
that?
It doesn't agree with what it says in any of the other suttas. That's my...
No, one sutra is about what the Buddha did when he was trying to stop the breath, no?
No, not stop the breath.
Huh?
It wasn't stop the breath, it was fighting hindrance.
Huh?
It was fighting nivarana.
Ah.
He was trying to push it down, crush.
No, that is in one sutra.
That's in both suttas.
Both sutras.
And one says it doesn't work to do that, and the other one says it does work to do that.
Ah.
So I'm pointing out that there's a big mistake.
That's a mistake, yeah.
And the Burmese, they very much like to try to crush mind with mind.
Ah.
Because of their one-pointed concentration.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But the first one, it says, let go of the unwholesome. The first part of that, let go of the unwholesome, develop the wholesome. I agree with that completely. But what does it mean, unwholesome? Taking it personally. I am that feeling. I am that memory. I am that thought. That is unwholesome. When you use the 6 R's, then there's no I in there. There's just the impersonal observation. So I agree with the first part of that, but then the rest of it is trying to suppress, trying to make you push away, stop the hindrance. I see too many people that have practiced Vipassana for years and years, and they hit a wall. They just get to a place they don't progress anymore. They still have their anger, they still have their pride.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're not letting it go. And that's one of the things that is most helpful about using that relaxed step, is you stop identifying with these things. There's a major teacher here in this country. He said when he was in India, when he first started practicing, he had a lot of fear. He gets in front of an audience to this day. You can hear the fear in his mind. He's very strong at practicing straight Vipassana, but he still hasn't let go of the fear. So there's something missing in his practice. And of course I've written to him, he is a friend of mine, I have written to him quite a few times telling him, try the relaxed step. He won't do it. Nothing I can do to help. But the relaxed step is the major difference between one-pointed concentration and having aware jhana.
So the thing is, there is another problem there. That word ekaggata. In the word ekaggata, they translate as one-pointed.
I know.
This is the reason.
Ekagga, when you look in the dictionary a little bit further away.
Yeah, no,
tranquility.
Eka means one. Agga means end. Agga means end, one end. What I point out is that the mind divides into two like this, going in two different directions. The emotional part going in one direction and the thinking part going in the other direction. Now, when, say, people come to the temples and they recite the 5 precepts. So when they recite the 5 precepts, they believe that it is right to observe the 5 precepts. But when they go home,
they forget.
they get angry and then the husband and wife begin to fight. Or one man wants to drink and then goes and drinks. And all kinds of things happen. How is that? Because there are two minds. One mind, the thinking mind, accepted the 5 precepts. But the emotional mind wants to break it. That's how it happens. So the mind, this is recognized by the modern psychologists. They call it cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance means the mind separating into two. And what is necessary is cognitive consonance. Consonance means the two has to come in one. And that is the meaning of ekaggata. The mind has to unite. That uniting the mind is the ekaggata. Eka means one end. It has to go into one end. And that is the samadhi. Samadhi is where the mind unites into one end.
VipassanaConcentration.
Huh? That is the meaning of it. But they try to think that that is concentration. That's the mistake they are making.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that is because of the Vissudhi Magga. Again.
Yeah, but you have to say that one man says, oh, 5 precepts, this is good. But later, he actually believes, not for me, I don't care about them, it's good, but I don't like them and I won't follow them. So it doesn't mean that he agrees at one end and he agrees at the other. It means he thinks it's a good idea, but not for him. I mean, it's a little different. You can't say one is without craving and he is the good man. And then there is this emotional man who's with craving and he's the bad man. Well, there's one person over here who says, yeah, I'll follow him, but later forget it. And he breaks them. So that's so in the end, that person doesn't believe in the 5 precepts. He just pays lip service to them. He doesn't follow them. And because of craving, he breaks them. And that person is full of craving.
And he is suffering greatly.
Yeah. So
wondering why life is so unfair. That's why I highly recommend that you take the precepts every day with the determination to keep them. And if you happen to break one of the precepts, stop right then, take them again with a strong determination, I'm not going to do that again. Then when you get ready to sit in meditation, your mind doesn't have any guilty feeling. So your meditation is very good. Your mind is already calm. So I got you holding the heavy book again. Take it. So why don't we share some merit and call this to a conclusion? Okay? May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we've thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu.